Joining me now on this episode of Locally Sourced EP is the owner of the Comic Addict in Chaparral, New Mexico, Mr. Marcus Stroke. Sir, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Sir, as you can see by the shirt, I love comics. I know there's others that are probably more passionate about it than I am, because I am a casual comic book collector. I know there's, like I said, there's way more people that are way more passionate about them than I am. I just recently mostly got back into it when COVID hit, because it was something I could do before, starting this show too. But I mean, let's talk a little bit about your shop. But first, how did you get into comic books?
I get into comics when I was very young. I'd say about 7 years old, and we were. My dad was military, and we were always here in Fort Bliss, in Germany, back here, Fort Bliss, or Germany, and then back. And in Germany, we were in a shopette. I don't know if you've ever been on post. They have those little shopettes, and that's where I picked up my first comic. And of course, it was G.I. Joe.
Nice.
I just became obsessed. Thought it was the neatest thing. And what I tell a lot of people too is I struggled learning to read. And when I picked up my comics, it helped me get better and better reading wise. So that was another thing that I enjoyed as well.
Yeah. Something like that. I mean, I've heard
girls as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I mean, I know I've heard of like some of the educators using comic books to actually help promote reading for those who have disabilities or having trouble reading. So that is so awesome that helped you, and it's helped so many others. And I think did it just start a wildfire of like you collecting comics?
It did. It was just one issue after the other. I stuck with like two issues. I think I was a big Hulk fan because of the TV show. You won't like me when I'm angry. And so it was G.I. Joe, it was Hulk, and it was Superboy and Superman. Those were my three that I just stuck with on a constant basis. And then when I got to older, I want to say I was almost 18, and I moved to Vegas on my own. I kind of had to put it on hold a little bit, and then I picked it back up around 92 through 96. And then, being in the military and going from place to place to place, it was hit and misses. I had people picking comics up for me, shipping them overseas, just to, get, all the latest issues. So I kind of kept current on what was going on. I don't like to read them digitally. Most people are like, hey, let me get the comic so I can keep it nice and pristine. And what was it? And then read online. I'm more of a let me roll it up, stick it in my back pocket kind of guy.
Oh, nice. I think that line you just said made a whole bunch of people cringe, probably.
But that's the way we used to do it as kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like nowadays, I mean, yeah, like people they'll buy the comic or either have it pick it up in their box or from their pull list, and they don't even take it out to read it. They usually just read it online or read it digital. I just think that's a travesty, because like there's nothing like opening a comic book, of course, carefully, and then reading it. Like with the new Ronin series, it was like I read most of them, and I wouldn't even open them all the way, because I don't want to crease the cover, because it's so nice. And of course, you want to get it graded maybe later or something. But yeah, I'm real careful opening it, but I prefer reading them in my hand with the comic than reading them the digital online.
And we speak about keeping them pristine. I believe personally, I'm the only comic book store that offers the services of cleaning and pressing. I know a lot of people here do clean and press their own books, but that's kind of what got me into the cleaning and pressing, was the fact that I was reading it. Oh, if I bent it or something, I could put it back into the immaculate shape it was, before I took it out and read it.
Right. And just so you know, I did not know you did that. So We will be talking
Yes.
more after this. I got a couple Gambit first appearances of Gambit. I might have you take a look at for me.
Oh, absolutely. It's a joy because I suffer from PTSD.
Mhm.
So I used to color, and it was calming. Um, and so uh, I went from that into being taught how to clean and press comics. And it kind of like, oh, I could take my time, and
That's awesome.
my focus would be on the book instead of other things that were going on because of deployments and everything else that I
Mhm.
was suffering from. It helped me relax.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so that's how I kind of got into the cleaning and pressing.
I don't mean to sound cliche, but I really appreciate like especially military and Mark. I did not know that you served, but thank you for your service, serving
Oh,
in the
very
military,
welcome.
man. And I mean, and then just how did it develop where you decided to open up a shop?
Well, I wanted to when I got out, I retired, and I was like, I want to do something for the community that's never been done before. And that is basically sell comics at cover price. If people are inflating comics, I wanted a shop where people could go in, know that they could get an issue for cover price, and do their own flipping or saving or whatever they do. Because I noticed when I was in the service, especially at Fort Leonard Wood, I had to have 7 different subscriber boxes
Oh man.
because some people would be like, "Oh, that book just came out. It's hot. It's $15." Well, it's on my pull list,
Hmm.
and it just drove me insane. And so a lot of stuff I keep real cheap because it's one man's treasure. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
Uh, Is another, So that's kind of why I started it, is because I was just fed up with the we have to basically just jack up prices just for people to buy it. And
Hmm.
it's tough. And especially now that inflation and everything's going on.
Yeah.
And that's why I said I've been struggling lately, especially comics. There's a downtime for comics. And basically, when school is out, it's June and July. The comic business is super slow because everybody's on vacation with their children and everything like that. Once August hits, it kind of picks back up again a little bit because the kids are going back to school.
Hmm.
And in September, you're back at average. And in October, you die. It's just completely dead
Oh
because
man.
everybody's out shopping for Halloween costumes. Did you know that Halloween is the #1 holiday in the entire world,
I did.
second to Christmas?
I didn't know that. And
Mhm.
I didn't even know there was like a slow time and a busy time for comic shops.
Yep. And then it picks back up in November, December because of Christmas.
Hmm.
And then January, February, March is when con season starts. And so it's busy then.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how, when you get toward April and May, that's why they do free comic book in May, so that the comics, uh, and I read this through one, because I didn't know why they started comic book day, but it was for kids to read while they were on their summer vacation.
Oh, nice.
And that's why they started free comic book day.
Nice. I didn't know that either.
And
I'm learning
another
so
note,
much today.
yes, and another note was they started the Halloween books, like they
Mhm.
do Halloween Fest for
Yeah.
comics,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it is the slowest time of the month for it. So it brings people back into the shop while they're shopping for their Halloween costumes. Hey, come get some free comics. Don't forget about us.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and we always do that. Especially before COVID, we would hit up all the comic shops to get some free books, and like I'm always like I'm of course I'm I have a local podcast to promote it, but we would go and we would at least buy a comic or buy a Funko Pop or buy a figure from as many places as we could, because we I mean I love going to I love going to shops just to look around too. That's one of my favorite things to do. And that's just so cool that like I mean, like I didn't know about why they had free comic book day, and then of course the Halloween one that I know that came around not too long ago, right?
Right. And I think it was about 6 years ago.
Hmm. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, I had no idea why they then started doing that one. So that's really neat. And and then you opened your doors around August 2020. Is that correct?
Correct.
Tell us.
Like I said, I originally opened in March of 19, and then the world shut down in April.
Mhm.
And when I opened in March, it was only like Wednesdays and Saturdays because I was still working a full-time job.
Mhm.
And then COVID hit, and then I went online for a little while trying to push product out. And then once I was able to open my doors full time again, that's when I kind of went in there. And we started out slow again, Wednesdays and Saturdays. And then after the new year hit, I opened full time.
That's awesome. And I've been to your shop a few times. I am I can confirm what you said about selling stuff at cover price. I remember
Mhm.
it was a few months ago. You found a couple first issues of the Cap, Captain Carter issues,
Mhm.
and you'd put them online and say, "Hey, I have a few, first come, first serve, cover price," even though they're hot books. And I was one of the lucky ones that got it for cover price. So I mean,
Yes.
I thank you for that, because that's it was a cool issue too. And I mean, you're one of the few shops here in the local area that still does that. That still offers most books either at cover price, or at least have them like that. And it is just so cool that you're able to do that and that you do that.
I know. I get down sometimes, and I look at how great people post about me. Like there was a Jeremy B that posted on one of my things that I clean and press, or he's such a great guy. And it's sometimes, like I said, during these slow times, and I'm struggling to make orders, to make everybody happy, that I kind of get down like, oh, should I be charging more? But then again, it goes against everything that I stand for. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I
Because
understand.
I want people to know that you can enjoy this hobby at what it was meant for in the begin with, and that was to enjoy reading, enjoy collecting, and everybody now just buys and sells comics, and
Mhm.
and like I said, I miss the joy of reading. I posted, I've been pushing this book called Little Monsters, and if you can ask anybody on the Facebook, they just know I have sold so many copies of that because I make people read it. Like, hey, read this first issue. You're gonna just love this book. And again, that's why I said that's why I do what I do. I love what I do.
That's awesome. And then I know you just recently you had a couple say you're 50% off some of your back issues.
Mhm.
That's cool that you were doing that too. What I mean, what when someone walks into your shop, what do they expect? What should they expect when they come to your shop?
What I hope they is me giving them the best customer service ever, and locating and finding what they're looking for. If I don't have it, because I've been in the military and I've been all over the 50 states, I
Mhm.
have a lot of connections to where I go outside. If there's nothing Greg might have that, we go back and forth, but usually I deal with a guy in Ohio, Freedom Comics a lot. Him and I are really close. And then because him and his family came up to help me get started in the shop, to help me
Oh, that's
open
awesome.
it, everything. That was really nice for a shop in Ohio to come all the way to El Paso
Mhm.
to help me open my shop. And so it it's just I want people to know that you can get the books that you're looking for at cover price. And that's what my expectation is when you walk in. And I usually work with people, I have higher end books, market value. And what I always tell people is if it's a hot book, I usually limit it to 1 to 2 per person.
Mhm.
And then after, let's say, a week or two, like with the Carters, hey, I needed to push those out because, you know, I just needed to. It's like, hey, I have them here, come get them,
Right.
for and I do a lot of sending stuff into CGC to get graded. So I pull a lot of the hot books
Mhm.
for myself because I kind of order extra because I know it's going to be hot. And a lot of people compliment me on that as well because my knowledge of what's going to be hot, what's not going to be hot,
Right.
and that helps too. And that's what I want people to know when they walk into my store. Hey, I can find any book I'm looking for. Uh, for reasonably priced, whether it's fair market value or, a little below.
Nice, Marty. I love going to your shop, and it's so cool. And I know you're a little, like, for me, you're like right down the street because I live in Northeast El Paso, and you're right there at the edge of Chaparral. So it's like a 12 minute drive for me. But what's the location of your shop there?
It's at 300-2 McCombs Road, right next to, I should say across the street from the AutoZone and next to the Steyer's Mini Mart. My original plan when we had opened, back in 19, was to move in where the Cricket was on McCombs and 54.
Mm-hmm.
And again, because COVID hit and everything kind of fell through the tables, I lost that spot to Cricket. And it was a little much. And my mom, who owns the mailing place, I always like to plug her because whenever I ship stuff to people, it's like, hey, just walk next door and send it out.
Yeah.
But
that's cool.
$500 rent for starting out a business is pretty darn good.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, every time I've walked in that I think that she's there, she's always very nice to me and says hello right before I go into your shop. So
yes,
it's like an extra, like, happy times going into your shop, man.
And I noticed too, she's getting a little more business as well, because people come in and they realize, oh, hey, you're in the mailing place. And get stamps and send out my packages and open a PO box. So it's a win-win for both of us right now. I do want to move eventually to the area of the Northeast and bring it back up. I know there's Brad. I love Brad, great guy. He's over by the Fort Bliss area. So I was more or less that 54 where they're going to build those new houses. Mm-hmm. That's my soon to be prime location.
You say when, sir, and we'll be there to help support you no matter what.
Oh, absolutely. It's just, like I said, getting through these tough times so that we can kind of pick it back up again. And again, I enjoy doing this interview. If it helps let people know where I'm at and to come visit me, it's amazing. Thank you again.
No problem. And you're on social medias, correct?
Yes. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook.
Awesome.
I'm working on the whole Instagram thing. I struggle with marketing. I'm not very good at it, but I do the best I can. No,
you, like, a lot of your, like, there's just the little lives that you've done and some of the videos and stuff you posted. I mean, look what happened. I went out there and grabbed that Captain Carter, man, because I saw your video. I was like, boom, right after work, I'm heading there. I was just glad I didn't get a speeding ticket because I work downtown, so I was driving pretty quick. So don't tell anybody.
Well, I appreciate it. I love, a lot of people love the live videos. I know Fernie and Greg are like, oh, I always watch your videos.
Yeah.
Because I help everybody out in the community. What's hot, what's not hot,
Yeah.
I have a key collector wall, so not when you walk in, you don't have to pull out your phone and look at your app. You just look at the wall and you know what the hot books are.
Nice.
So, and I always change things up. I don't know if you notice when you go in my shop, it's never the same.
Yeah. I've noticed that.
I'm claustrophobic, so I have to keep it open.
Mm-hmm.
And I try and kind of shift it around a little bit to kind of keep it fresh. So people, when they walk in, like, oh, hey, I know some people are like, man, you keep changing it around, but it's keeping it fresh,
Yeah, no. And it's your shop. You can do what you want.
Yeah.
If someone doesn't like it, they can open up their own shop. I think you're right. It keeps it fresh, keeps things different. It'll make people look for stuff.
Yes.
Come on, there you go. There you go. All right, I really appreciate you joining me. But I promise I'll put all of your info and the store's info and the information below in the description below, and we'll just make sure we keep pushing out and you keep us updated. That way, if you end up when you decide to move, we'll help you out as much as we can.
Well, most definitely. And like I said, I'm shooting for January of this coming year, but we'll see. Like I said, right now we're just trying to get through the struggle part with the summer vacation.
I'll tell you what, if we don't do it soon again, if we don't meet with you soon again at your current shop, we'll do it for sure at the new one.
All right, I definitely appreciate that. And again, always a pleasure. You having me on. So
thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. Anything else you'd like to say or add before we end today?
No, just I just want to let everybody know that I do clean and press and just, and like I said, fair market value for books.
Oh, awesome.
That is my big thing. That's why I do what I do. I
Uh-huh.
love collecting, and like I said, everybody, you got to make it fair for everyone.
Oh, Mike, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for everything. I'll be in contact with you because, like I said, I got a couple of books and I did not know you clean and press. So you will be hearing from me. Don't forget to visit Comic Addict in Chaparral, New Mexico. All the information's in the description below. And Mark, thank you again for joining us today, man.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thanks.